My name is Michelle Cheatham. I have been the head softball coach. I'm going on my 8th season here at UTSA and started as a coach here as an assistant in 2006. So I've been in this career for about 14 years now. I played from 1998 to 2002 at the Division I level here at UTSA and played all through high school and middle school, club ball, all that stuff. And it led me to this career path. So took a couple different roads to get here, but this is where I've been for the last almost 15 years. So um, as a kid, I played since I was about 6 years old and had a love for the game ever since. Continued all the way through high school, played high school ball and travel ball, earned a scholarship to UTSA, and played all 4 years in college. As a child, I would say educationally, I enjoyed math and science the most. Didn't enjoy English as much. I just kind of worked on that side of the brain a little bit better than I did on the creative side. But, I didn't make a career decision until I was in college. And honestly, I'm not even in that career anymore that I made for my major and a couple for what I did a few years after college. So, things evolve, things change, and you kind of figure out through the process of trying different things of what you like and what you don't like. So for me, in childhood, early childhood, I had aspirations to be an astronaut. And then in high school, I had thought about going into the medical field of some sort, whether it be nursing, whether it be veterinary. There were a bunch of things that I looked into in high school. I actually had a clinical class in my senior year of high school that helped me actually decide not that I didn't want to go into the medical field. I got a chance to peek into different surgeries and, work alongside a veterinarian for a week and just do different things to see if it was something I truly enjoyed. When it comes to the educational route for a collegiate coach, there's so many different avenues you can go. Usually you have to have at least a bachelor's degree to be a collegiate coach. Some positions require a master's degree, but the type of degree doesn't really matter. I mean, my assistants both one has a motor development physiology degree and one of them has a history degree. I have an accounting degree. So really there's no specific avenue that you have to take. And honestly, to be more diverse, it's probably best that you don't necessarily just get into a coaching degree per se. I know there's some people that have gone the kinesiology route, and that gives you a broad stroke of from a science background to taking some educational psychology courses, things like that. But there's really no specific route that you have to take. Now, if you get into some younger coaching areas, whether it's high school or younger, you typically have to have an educational certification. So to coach in high school, you need to be able to teach as well. At my level, it's just the coaching aspect. So there is no certification from an academic standpoint that I have to have. I think that besides being an athlete, things that can help you get into the coaching realm is, and things that you can kind of take advantage of from an academic standpoint in high school. I'm now that I'm in charge of a program, there's a lot of other areas that I have to be well versed in. Budgeting is one of them. So being able to do math and calculate budgets and being able to stay within budget and being able to put out reports to my financial officer of what we need, what we want, and how we can maybe go about affording different things through a planned budget process, and then even future planning for future years. So that did come into play. We wear many hats as coaches, so you're not just out there on the softball field coaching and then your day is over. In charge of a group of athletes that go through a wide range of learning experiences through their time here at the collegiate level. There's days where I have to be able to sit down with them and we have a conversation about different things, and help them through maybe hard times that they're going through outside of softball as well. And so, I took one psychology class in college, but I have drawn on some of the information I got in that class. So it's important to really expand your knowledge, whatever area, whether it's business or any career path you end up taking. Expanding your knowledge in all different areas to be able to help whoever you're working with, or the team that you're working with, or the organization to be better. So for me, expanding my knowledge on the human psyche and how people deal with things mentally was a big part of it. Communications and speech classes. I'm not a big speech person. I don't enjoy, just like probably most of you don't enjoy, getting up in front of big groups of people and talking, but sometimes my job requires that. It requires me to get in front of my team every day. It requires me to get in front and get of groups and give presentations. It requires me to get in front of recruits and tell them how great UTSA is and what we're doing here in our program. So being able to communicate well, not only with my current team, but with people outside of our program, to allow them to understand what we're doing here at UTSA, is really important. So those speech classes and those papers and speeches, you have to stand up and get really nervous for it. They do. You end up utilizing them a lot in your future endeavors. Whatever career path you take, you're probably going to have to get up at some point and speak in front of somebody. So take advantage of learning how to do that to your best abilities. Management classes. So I graduated with an accounting degree and wanted to make money. That was really one of the biggest reasons I made that decision in college. Wanted to get out and get a good job and be able to, provide for my family and all those things. And, even to this day, even though I'm not in a business career anymore, I do utilize information that's produced in management type books. There's a lot. They're in the business, typically the business section of the bookstore, because it talks about how you manage a team, manage an organization, the type of culture that you want, and things like that. So it's an area that you can expand your knowledge in and be able to help you to communicate, to work with a diverse group of people, whether it be student athletes, whether it be administration. There's all types of people that you're going to have to work with in your job settings, and to be able to communicate effectively to each one of those people that could potentially be very different from yourself, and create a good culture in your professional life, is always something that can be leaned on no matter what area of career you go into. When it comes to the responsibilities of being a head coach at the Division I level, it sounds like you just kind of go out there and coach softball. I would say that's probably less than 50% of what we end up doing overall. It's a big part of what we do, and it's a big part of what we get our job judged upon. Graduating my athletes, giving them a good experience here through their career, winning ball games, all that stuff is very much a big priority, but it's definitely not the extent of our responsibilities as head coaches. Managing a team and coaching softball, the game of softball aside, there's many other things, such as, like I mentioned earlier, budget management is a huge one, as from a head coaching perspective, because you're put in charge of a program and you're allotted a certain amount of budget to get the job done, whether it's operational needs or fundraising, all kinds of things that you're now in charge of for your program, that you have to be responsible for, and that you also have a staff to manage. So I have a staff of 2 other assistant coaches and some volunteer student managers. We have people that assist with our program on the academic and the weight room and training room side that are also staff to be managed and brought into our program and our culture. So managing people, not only the players that I have playing on my team, but the people that are also involved with the team. Academics is another big thing. Have to be able to monitor my student athletes' academic results and progress and make sure that they're on the right track to graduate. And when they have problems, that we can come together and solve those problems academically with all the support staff that we have. But being knowledgeable in that area and also knowledgeable enough to be able to relate to recruits and let them know what UTSA as a university has to offer from an academic standpoint is really important. Recruiting is a whole nother ball game, so that's a big part of what we do on a daily basis. I have to bring players in every year into this program. They have to be the right fit, both from a physical softball standpoint, but also an academic standpoint. We want to make sure we give each player that's brought in here the chance to be successful at this level, whether it's in the classroom or on the field. So big part of what we do is evaluating talent, also evaluating character, and making sure that they're the right fit. So a lot goes into that. Probably sit here and talk the whole 15 minutes about recruiting in itself, but the state of your program and the trajectory that it has a big part to do with the recruiting of the athletes that you bring in. We also do some rules compliance, so making sure that we're following all the rules from not only a university standpoint but an NCAA standpoint, which has a book about this thick of rules that change constantly. So that's something that we have to be aware and focused on. The atmosphere that I work in is a lot of like-minded people, competitive people that obviously want to win, but want this department to thrive and move forward and win championships and create really good student athletes and people for the society moving forward out after their college career. So it's a lot of like-minded people, but a lot of people that have different opinions about how to get that done, and so working together with those people, and it's an own team in itself. So like I said earlier, learning how to manage and work with people that are not maybe the same mindset that you are, but how do we work together? How do we get things done? Typical work day, it really depends on the time of year for us. Our main season is in the spring, so we spend the fall semester doing a lot of breakdown, building the individual from a player development standpoint, work integrating new players into the system, and then kind of building towards the right before Christmas break where we are right now, building towards a team atmosphere and competitively playing games, so that when we come back in the spring, we have a little bit of work time, and then we get going into our competitive season. The summer is a little less in the office work and a little less work with our current team and more recruiting. That's our prime recruiting window when we go out typically and watch ball games, tournaments, and that sort of thing. So we're in the office a little bit here and there during the week, and then typically traveling on the weekend for tournaments to go watch future players. The reward for my job, I think, is just being able to work hand in hand and being a big part of the student athletes that we bring in, being a part of their journey. They come in, they're here for 4 to 5 years to graduate, and it's a really pivotal time in their lifespan where you learn a lot of things about yourself, who you want to be, what you want to be. You grow, you mature, you grow into kind of the adult that you're moving forward into becoming, a normal, going into a job and a career and all that stuff, and becoming not just a softball player. You become a person that is moving into a different stage of life. So they learn a lot of things. I get a chance to be a part of that. That's the most rewarding thing for me, is to be able to be a little piece of that puzzle in their journey. So some of the difficulties, I think one of the things for me was moving up from an assistant to a head coach. There's a lot of different responsibilities and the differences in the status when it comes to your going from an assistant where you're very much one-on-one with the athletes to a head coach where it's more of a team perspective. You still get one-on-one time, but a little less than normal. And you just have a lot more program responsibilities that I think was just a little bit different. And also another difficulty when you're first starting out as a head coach is finding what you want your program niche to be, and then really getting the players to buy into that and to be able to sell who you are as a program to recruits that are coming in that want to be a part of that as well. So finding your niche, and I think in any career path, that's something that is really important. What do you do well, what you can thrive at, and then continuing to grow in that aspect. The biggest piece of advice I can give younger kids is to gain as many experiences as you can. Like I said, I've changed career paths a couple of times, and I had ideas of what I thought I was going to be multiple times, all the way up until even after college. So, don't get too locked into something that you want to do unless it's something that you feel like you love and have a passion for. I can tell you that money isn't always what will make you wake up and go to work every morning. You have to have a love and a passion for what you do, and you have to find that out through just having experiences. Is it something that you can envision yourself doing every day? Do you enjoy it? Do you love it? Those are things that, for me, coaching, I love getting up and coming to work every day. I love working with my student athletes. I love being a part of their process, and it's something that I realized long ago, right after, once I got my accounting job for a few years after college, that was not what I was meant to do, and this is what I was meant to do. So find something that you can enjoy and really thrive in, because that's going to be a lot more important than the dollar symbols on a check. I can promise you that. So I hope I was able to give you a little bit of information, and hope you have a great rest of your career day, and you find something that you really love and you're passionate about. All right, go Runners.